I thought my sister was my best friend. I thought the man I loved was my future. But when I saw them through the cracked bedroom door, my world didn't just break, it burned. And now, it's my turn to hold the match. I remember the dress. It was ivory lace, hanging in the back of my closet like a promise. My name is Chloe, and 6 months ago, I was supposed to be a bride. My sister, Maya, she was always the wild one. She was the one who needed saving, the one our parents always coddled, while I was the reliable one. I didn't mind. I loved her. When I met Liam, a successful architect with a smile that felt like home, I thought I finally had something that was just mine. But Maya, she has a way of wanting what isn't hers. It started small, little comments about how Liam looked at her, accidentally walking into the kitchen in her silk robe when he was over for dinner. I brushed it off. I trusted them. I thought loyalty was a given in our family. The red flags were there. I just chose to paint them white, like my wedding dress. Liam started staying late at work. Maya started having emergencies that only Liam could help with. My heart began to feel heavy, a slow, creeping coldness that I couldn't explain. Then came the night of the rehearsal dinner. I had forgotten my jewelry at our shared apartment. I drove back. The air was humid, a typical Georgia summer night. When I walked inside, the silence felt wrong. I walked toward the bedroom, and there it was. The sound of a laugh that wasn't mine, a whisper that belonged to the man who had promised to cherish me forever. Through the crack in the door, I saw them. My sister and my fiancé. "She'll never find out," Maya whispered, her voice sounding like a snake in a garden. "She doesn't deserve you anyway," Liam replied, kissing the sister of the woman he was supposed to marry the next day. I didn't scream. I didn't throw a fit. I just stood there. My chest felt like it was being crushed by a physical weight. I took out my phone and I pressed record. I didn't want a scene. I wanted evidence. I watched them for 30 seconds. 30 seconds that erased 3 years of my life. I left the apartment quietly, the ivory lace dress still hanging in the closet. I sat in my car, the engine idling, and I realized the Chloe who believed in fairy tales was dead. The Chloe who was reliable, she was gone. The next morning, the sun was too bright. It felt like an insult. My mother was humming as she helped me with my hair. "You look beautiful, Chloe," she said, her eyes sparkling. I wanted to tell her. I wanted to scream that her favorite daughter was a thief. But I waited. The betrayal didn't stop at the bedroom door. As I sat in the bridal suite, I checked my bank account. Empty. Liam and I had a joint account for our house fund. $50,000 gone. Transferred to an offshore account in Liam's name. I felt a hysterical laugh bubble up in my throat. They didn't just want each other. They wanted to ruin me. They wanted to leave me with nothing while they ran off into the sunset. Maya walked in, wearing her maid of honor dress. She looked like an angel. She leaned down and kissed my cheek. "Are you nervous, sis?" she asked, her eyes searching mine for any sign of suspicion. "I've never been more sure of anything." "Maya," I whispered. My voice was steady, cold, like a frozen lake. I walked down the aisle, the music playing, the flowers smelling like a funeral. Liam stood at the altar, looking handsome, looking like a lie. When I reached him, he took my hands. His hands were sweaty. The minister began the ceremony. If anyone has any reason why these two should not be joined. I didn't wait for a stranger to speak. I stepped back. I pulled my hands away as if they were covered in acid. "I do," I said. The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop on the marble floor. I turned to the projector screen we had set up for the childhood photo slideshow. I pulled out my remote. "I think, before we say I do, we should all see what happened last night." I pressed play. The video filled the screen. The groans of shock from the guests, the scream from my mother, the way Liam's face turned gray. Maya tried to run, but my cousins were blocking the exit. "Chloe, stop this!" Liam shouted, his mask finally slipping. "I stopped being Chloe the victim last night." "Liam," I said, my voice echoing through the church. "The wedding is off." The police are on their way regarding the $50,000 you stole from our joint account this morning. And Maya, Mom and Dad's house? The one you convinced them to put in your name for tax reasons? I have the proof that you forged their signatures on the final deed. Maya fell to her knees. Chloe, please, we're family. Family doesn't steal the air out of each other's lungs. Maya. I walked out of that church, the train of my dress trailing behind me like a shroud. I didn't look back. I had lost a fiancé. I had lost a sister, but for the first time. I had found myself. The months that followed were a blur of legal battles. I didn't back down. I hired the most ruthless lawyer in the state. Liam was arrested for grand theft. Turns out, he had done this before. He was a professional groom, targeting women with savings and then disappearing. But he hadn't counted on a woman who recorded everything. He's currently serving 5 years. Maya, she was worse. Our parents were heartbroken. They couldn't believe their angel had tried to steal their home. Because the deed was proven to be a forgery, the house went back to them. Maya was evicted. She had no job, no friends, and now no Liam. I moved to a small town near the coast. I started a business, a boutique for women who needed a fresh start. I was happy. I was calm. Yesterday, there was a knock on my door. It was Maya. She looked terrible. Her hair was matted. Her clothes were thin. She was shivering even though it was 70 degrees outside. Chloe, please, she sobbed, falling at my feet. I have nowhere to go. I'm sleeping in my car. I haven't eaten in 2 days. Please, have mercy. I'm your sister. I looked down at her. 6 months ago, I would have pulled her inside. I would have fed her, clothed her, and forgiven her. But the woman who did that died in a Georgia bedroom. Mercy is for people who make mistakes. Maya, I said softly, the cinematic pause stretching between us. What you did wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. You chose to take my money. You chose to take my husband. You chose to leave me with nothing. I was desperate, she cried. Liam manipulated me. You looked pretty happy in that video. Maya. I reached into my pocket and pulled out $20. I dropped it on the ground in front of her. This is for a meal, I said. After that, don't ever come back here. I don't have a sister anymore. I buried her the day of my wedding. I closed the door. I didn't lock it because I was afraid. I locked it because I was finished. I walked to my kitchen, poured a glass of wine, and looked out at the ocean. The revenge wasn't in seeing her suffer, though that was a part of it. The real revenge was that I no longer cared. I was free. The truth, it doesn't always set you free quietly. Sometimes, it has to burn everything down first, so you can build something better on top of the ashes. And me? I'm finally living in the house that the fire built. If you believe that family should never be an excuse for betrayal, hit the like button. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? Let me know your story in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories of justice and revenge.